I asked my brother not to bring his girlfriend to my wedding, and he told me I was being a Britazilla, but he didn't realize I was actually saving him from the most humiliating moment of his life. My brother Jake has been dating Becca for 2 years. Becca has a condition where if she isn't the center of attention for 5 minutes, she thinks she's going to die. Last Thanksgiving, right as my dad stood up to give a toast, Becca clinked her glass and announced she was pregnant. The whole room erupted in cheers. My mom was crying. Jake looked terrified but happy. 2 hours later, after she'd soaked up all the love, she admitted it was just a prank to see our reactions. So, when I was planning my wedding to my fiancé Ryan, I made a hard rule. No Becca. I called Jake 3 months before the big day. Jake, I love you, and I want you there. But Becca is not invited. I need one day where I do and have to worry about her faking a heart attack during my vows. Jake exploded. He called me selfish. He said, if Becca isn't welcome, then neither am I. She's my family, that's your choice, I told him, and I hung up. It hurt, but I stood my ground. Fast forward to the wedding day. I was in the bridal suite, getting my final touch-ups. The ceremony was starting in 20 minutes. I was sipping champagne, finally relaxing, when my cousin Madison burst through the door, her face pale. You need to see this, she said, shoving her phone in my face. It was Instagram Live. Becca was streaming, and she wasn't at home. The background of the video was the parking lot of my wedding venue. Becca was sitting in her car, wearing a white dress, a literal wedding gown. She was crying into the camera, mascara running down her cheeks. I can't believe I have to do this, Becca sobbed to her 300 followers. Ryan, the groom, he called me last night. He told me he made a mistake. He said he's only marrying her because he feels bad for her. He told me to come here and stop the wedding so we can be together. My bridesmaids gasped. She's lying. Madison screamed. Ryan has been with you all night. I watched the screen. In the video, I saw my brother Jake sitting in the driver's seat next to her, looking confused but supportive. He actually believed her. He was driving the getaway car for his delusion girlfriend to crash my wedding. They're walking toward the entrance, Madison said, looking out the window. Security is going to stop them. No, I said, standing up. A cold calm washed over me. Don't stop them. Let them in. I grabbed the DJ's microphone and walked out to the reception hall where the guests were already seated. I signaled the AV guy. Connect Madison's phone to the main projector. Now, seconds later, Becca's weeping face was 10 feet tall on the wall behind the altar. The audio blasted through the speakers. He loves me. I'm carrying his baby. I have to save him. The guests started murmuring. Then, the double doors at the back of the hall swung open. Becca stood there in her white gown, with Jake right behind her. She threw her hands up dramatically. Stop. Ryan doesn't love you. She expected a shocked silence. What she got was her own face on the giant screen behind me, still looping her crazy rant about a fake phone call. I stepped forward with the microphone. Everyone, welcome my brothers plus one. Since she wanted the spotlight so badly, let's give it to her. I turned to Jake. He was staring at the screen, then at Ryan, who was standing next to me looking completely disgusted. Jake, I said over the speakers. Ryan was playing poker with your dad last night until Becca is lying to you. Again, Becca froze. The performance crumbled. She looked at Jake, terrified. Baby, no, they're lying. Jake looked at her. He looked at the white dress she was wearing to his sister's wedding. Then he looked at the lie playing on the screen. For the first time in 2 years, the fog lifted. Jake didn't yell. He just turned around and walked out the door. Jake, wait! Becca screamed, chasing after him. Security caught her by the elbows before she could reach him. As they dragged her out, kicking and screaming, the whole room burst into applause. I turned to Ryan, adjusted my veil, and smiled. Okay, I think I'm ready to get married now.